And there we go. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Cindy Williams. I'm president of CalWorks Safety and HR. And we missed our first one, the first part of the year. So I have to apologize for that. But here we are in full force. And we are going to have a great webinar this morning. We have two amazing speakers. And first, I want to introduce to you one of our very own HR superstar. She is so amazing, Mary Steidel. She is our lead HR, a professional, super wonderful person. She's going to talk about leading challenging employees. And we all have those. So all companies have those. She's going to tell you how to wrangle them in, what to do, and be compliant. Then we have the beautiful Hema Dey. She is with Eiffel International. She is my marketing guru. And if you don't know anything about AI, she's going to tell you all about it. And it's how to restructure sales and marketing teams. And she is like a miracle. And she has so much to tell you about AI. I can't wait for you to hear all about it. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mary Steidel. Go ahead, Mary.
Well, thank you, Cindy, for that wonderful introduction. I hope I live up to it here. There's a lot to talk about with challenging employees in 20 minutes. So let me share my screen and we can get into it a little bit. I think the thing I want to start off with first is leading with confidence, managing risk, and handling what's hard. And I think when we're dealing with challenging employees, we frequently shy away from having those conversations because we're afraid, they're afraid. We wonder if we're going to get into some legal trouble. And we'll talk about a little bit of that today. And then I think
can I interject? I'm sorry. I just want to remind everyone, again, we have questions at the end, just like last year. And we're going to give away a $35 gift card this year at the end of our webinar. So please take notes. And Mary has questions at the end of the webinar, as does Hema. So make sure that you take notes because they're going to be keeping track at the end of the webinar. Sorry, Mary. Go ahead.
No, not at all. Thank you, Cindy. And my questions are going to be, I'm going to have some scenarios for you. So there'll be thinkers. Let's put it that way. You won't necessarily get the answers all here, but you'll have the foundational elements. And I think that's important. So as we think about leading challenging employees, we want to be able to manage performance, primarily because it not only impacts our bottom line, but it also impacts the way that employees work with one another, the culture at a company, and that ultimately impacts how we feel about going to work each day. It's a compliance risk area, particularly in California, as we see rules and regulations, legislation changing. So sometimes leaders hesitate because they're concerned about legal implications. So they might let things slide longer than they should. And when they do that, that creates morale concerns. Other employees who are performing at an acceptable or higher level see that those who aren't performing aren't necessarily having any consequences. So then we start to get disengagement. And disengagement means that we're going to be in a situation where the entire team is starting to lose steam. So morale suffers and performance suffers across the whole. And managers, of course, are tasked with accomplishing work through others. So in order to accomplish work through others, we need to make certain that we're paying attention. I would say, in my experience, and it's a lengthy one, I subscribe to the 80-20 rule. 20% of the employees are going to take 80% of your time. And those are the ones you need to figure out. Are they the ones that you want to move up or out? Because honestly, you're not spending time with the people who are really driving your business forward because you're so busy taking care of the issues. I want to say the problems, but I don't see people as problems. They're issues. How do we get there? So our goal is really to make certain that we're leading confidently, that we're comfortable in what we're doing, and that we are reducing risk along the way while ensuring that morale stays high. It matters because, first of all, employees are increasingly aware of their rights. I have more employees come to me and tell me what their protections are sometimes than their managers know. So really important that we stay abreast of what's going on, that we utilize our resources, and CalWorks Safety and HR is certainly one of those resources. Our HR consultants, our safety consultants are here to help you with the things that you need help with. So when you have questions, particularly around employee issues, please come talk to us if you're not certain what to do. The courts, the legal system, workers' comp adjudication, anything you're looking at, higher scrutiny on fairness and consistency. So when you're making a decision for how you're going to handle a situation with someone, keep in mind that you're not just making a decision for that instance. That decision is going to have ramifications and reverberations throughout your team, because you're going to need to make the same decision for someone else in a similar situation. That's where fairness and consistency comes in. And when we don't do that, when we don't handle things well, we get into legal claims. And we've got people who can help you with that too. So that's not an issue. We've got some of our partners who can certainly help us there, but we don't, not that we don't want to send them business, but we don't want to spend our days in court, or we don't want to spend our days handling legal claims. So again, critically important that we understand what our obligations are, that we are open in communication with employees, and that we are having those conversations. I think core leadership messages are really around, you don't have to choose between leadership and compliance. You can do both.
Mhm.
How, you ask? Well, addressing those issues early, making certain that you document. Documentation is absolutely essential, not only for reducing risk in the short term, but being able to demonstrate down the path what you did, why you did it, how you did it. And if you're like me, you've got a lot of things that pop up in your day. So you're dealing with not only running the work that you're running, you're dealing with managing people, you're dealing with managing deadlines and making certain that deliverables are on time, and it's coming fast and furious. And for me, my experience recently has been, as time goes by and as automation takes on, which Hema will talk about that with us, we see things coming even faster than before. So our ability to absorb and to remember, and I don't know about you, but I'm getting older too, our ability to absorb and remember things is it's dissipating, right? So I take a lot of notes. I make certain that I retain my notes so that I can remember what happened, what transpired. And it also helps me from a legal perspective if I'm able to demonstrate what I did and I'm able to talk to that. Again, I want to show consistency. I want to make certain that I am leading. I am the one in charge of the overall group. We work together as a team, and I get there's no I in team. At the end of the day, the buck is going to stop with the leader. So how does the leader show up? How does the leader make certain that they're achieving what it is they're supposed to do in their role? I feel funny not asking if there are any questions, but I'm going to keep rolling here. When you're handling difficult behaviors, focus on facts, not emotions. I know for me, I have recently had an employee who I know has been becoming disengaged. And I've been irritated by that, quite honestly, because at one point, very high performer for me. Um, and so I'd like to say something about that, but that really doesn't matter how I feel. What matters is, what are the facts? How do I demonstrate that? How do I have that conversation? What are the root causes of that? And I know what those root causes are. And so we have to have an honest conversation about those things with clear professional language. I don't get to come and say, I feel this way and you're doing this to me. And, why aren't you better? What I have to say is, I've noticed through example where you've missed this call, or you've been late, or the deliverable hasn't been up to your normal standards, the client's not happy, what's going on? Let's talk about what the root causes are. These are some of the things I think that might be happening. What do you see happening? Again, I want that, much as I am with any sort of disability or leave conversation, I want that interactive process. I always want to talk with my team members. I want to do it in a way that makes it clear that it's a professional discussion. I love to be friendly, but I also have to run the business. So this isn't about friends and how can I help you, with whatever your challenges are. We've got things internally that can help you with that. I need to figure out how are we going to handle this behavior, this outcome, this result. So when we get into coaching versus discipline, I really, discipline for me is always the last resort. It isn't where I want to go to. I don't want to terminate someone because they're difficult for me to deal with. Excuse me. I don't want to go to that as my knee-jerk reaction. It doesn't make me a very good manager. My job is to accomplish work through people, so I have to figure out how to do that. And people, every single one of us is different. So how do I engage with each of the people on my team differently with what resonates for them, with what is going to help them move forward? I believe in coaching early and often, making certain that people understand where they're at, having open conversations. One of the things I also ask when I'm doing coaching conversations or if I'm doing performance reviews is, do you have any feedback for me? Do you have any feedback for me? The first few times I was asking it was really frightening. I went, oh gosh, what am I going to hear? I'll pick that up from one of the best leaders I ever worked for in my career. And the first time he asked me, I didn't know what to say. No, I don't need feedback for you. I work for you. It's one of the most important tools I have in my pack these days in terms of how do I get input from my team in terms of what I could do differently maybe to support them or what I'm saying. One of the things that came up that really changed a core behavior for me was when I would set a meeting with someone on my team, I would just set it without any context. And when your boss sets a meeting with you without context, what happens? You get fearful. So if I just put a little context in there, nothing to worry about, want to talk about XYZ. Everybody has a better day and nobody's dreading that call. That came directly from feedback when I said, do you have any feedback for me? So, really important. Escalating when patterns continue. So I'm not going to talk until the cows come home. Like if we can't get this fixed, if we can't solution this, then we're going to have to escalate. And then we're probably going to move into some counseling or some letters to file or some final letters to file, or maybe some suspension or maybe some termination. But those are my last resorts and they're progressive. I'm setting clear and measurable expectations along these conversations, along these coaching pieces, and that's incredibly important so people know what they're being measured against, where the bar is, and not the drinking bar, but the bar for work. Just threw that in as a little joke. Effective documentation, be factual, objective. I'm really going to date myself here, Cindy. I hope you'll laugh. In the words of Joe Friday, just the facts, ma'am. We're going to just put the facts together. We're going to avoid assumptions. We're going to avoid bias. We can't entirely avoid bias, but we're going to do our darndest. And we're going to ensure consistency across all the records. That's important because we want to continue to reduce workplace risk. And when we are replacing workplace risk, that means we're applying policies consistently across the workforce. We're avoiding favoritism. And that's kind of hard sometimes because we all have favorites. And sometimes our favorites, when we're avoiding favoritism, get treated worse than the ones that we don't favor. So we have to also balance that. That was some feedback one time from an employee as well. I know that you favor me. Please don't. Please stop. You hold me to a higher standard. So avoid favoritism wherever we can. Align actions with past practice, making certain that, again, that we're consistent. I spoke a little bit ago, maybe 5 minutes ago, about the conversation around making certain that what we decide today, we're ready and willing to live with down the path, because we are going to have to make those same decisions about how we're going to treat a similar situation. And that's really where aligning actions with past practice comes into play. Some types of our challenging employees would be a high performer with poor behavior, an underperformer with good intent, a resistant or disengaged employee. And I have to tell you, of these three challenging employees, it's the easiest to be probably most irritated, if we were putting emotion into it, with the resistant or disengaged employee. The high performer or poor behavior, we excuse that a lot. because we're happy with the performance and the output and where we're getting. But the reality is that they're leaving a trail of fire behind them with the others on the workforce. So this isn't really very good either. An underperformer with good intent, we think, oh, they're trying. Also, we're making excuses there. So we have to think about, how do we get the best out of people who can come and bring their best and do it in a way that helps other people feel engaged, that brings inclusion, that brings teamwork, that brings partnership into the calculation here. And that is the magic in leading people. So I think it's always a practice. I think we do our best to get our teams there, but it doesn't come naturally and it doesn't come overnight. And I will say that one challenging employee can upset the entire ecosystem of the team. And a manager who is not addressing that, is not taking the action that needs to be taken, is really pretty complicit in that behavior, but also is going to have more challenges because there will be become others who become disengaged as well. So crucial and critically important that, again, we are courageous in our leadership. We talk about things in a calm and measured way, and we make certain that we're addressing the issues as they come up. Now, that doesn't mean I want you to be nitpicky about everything that pops up or everything that that bubbles up in an employee's day to day. Choose your battles, pick your words, and make certain that we're seeing forward momentum, forward progress. Today, for practical takeaways, I want you to leave with the thought of using structured conversations. So think about what you're going to say before you say it. Don't just sit down and start talking, particularly when it's an emotional situation, because if you do that, you're going to feel a little fiery. And we don't want you to feel fiery. We want you to feel calm when you're having these conversations with people. We want you to document consistently. I can't stress that enough. Documentation is absolutely key. I want you to address issues early. So when you see something happening, don't wait for it to become bigger. Don't wait for it to become more impactful to the organization. Be courageous about having that conversation. Sometimes some of us end up in leadership because that's where we can make more money. Sometimes some of us end up in leadership because we're good widget makers. So then we start leading the widget makers. Sometimes some of us end up in leadership because we're leaders, and leaders have to have that courageous heart to be able to address things, to be able to let things roll off your back, to know what's real, and to stay factually aligned with what is going on in the workplace and what we need to accomplish. So leading with clarity, leading with confidence are absolutely essential. Why? Because confident leadership reduces risk, consistency builds trust, and if we act early, we're going to prevent escalation. So that's what I have for you this morning. I think I even came in 2 minutes early. So Hema, I'm going to turn it over to you at this point, and I will come back later on with my questions. Thanks everyone for your rapt attention.
You're very welcome. That was great, Mary. And I'm going to put
Wonderful.
myself on replay spotlight. Hi, everyone. I'm Hema Dey with Eiffel International. I'm going to share my presentation here with you. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Excellent. So it's very nice of you, Cindy, to invite me to speak here today. I've enjoyed working with you, and I'm very passionate about what I'm going to speak about today because we're living in unprecedented times with so much change with AI.
Versus going to speak about this.
Oh,
Computer sales.
speaking.
Oh, wow. Are you recording it? You can't record it.
I'm
They made.
gonna have to mute.
You can silence everybody.
Yes,
Oh.
mute all.
That would be cool. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Can you still hear me? Okay.
Yes.
With unprecedented changes in AI, today I'm going to be talking about how to note that, and Mary, you talked about how to manage your employees. I'm going to talk about leadership with kindness in an environment that we are seeing change pretty much every hour on the hour. And sales and marketing teams have been really affected by AI. So I get these calls from CEOs saying, I think it's time for me to fire my teams because the performance is so bad. And my first question to them is, do you know what's actually happening in the world of AI and how it's actually impacting your sales and your marketing teams? And a lot of them don't know that. And so my first protocol is to advocate for team human because I understand team AI, and I'm releasing my book. It's coming out in a matter of weeks. It's called The AI Translator. So I'm very passionate about Team Human, but I also know Team AI. And I've been doing this now. You can see on the slide here. I've created a marketing department, an outsourced marketing solution where we are also very much technologists and we build go-to-market strategies so that you can go out with confidence and grow your companies with the right teams. And that's Team Human and Team AI, right? So just a little bit about me. I am a single mother with two beautiful kids and a dog, Leo. And the reason I'm showing you this picture is because I truly believe that AI is a game changer for all of us. It's an equalizer. It's able to really accelerate and keep, us all in jobs. And I want to debunk that myth out there that AI is going to take away jobs. Today, I'm going to show you why. And I'm doing it with AI and raising two kids on my own. And I want to share my secrets with everybody in the whole wide world. So what has changed? Once upon a time, we used to say SEO, SEO, SEO. And the name of the game was to get on the first page of Google, right? And then you get the lead, and then you get the phone call, and then boom, bada boom, you get an order or a new client. Well, there's a new SEO, and it's not called search engine optimization, but it's called search everywhere optimization. Because since 2022, ChatGPT came out, and ChatGPT is an AI platform. And then Chat came out, and then Grok came out, and then Perplexity and Claude, and now Gemini 3. And then on Google, they have AI overviews. So all of these are AI large language models that people have fallen in love with. They go on there, they have a chit chat with ChatGPT. They say, I need an HR specialist because I need to fire somebody, and it has this very back and forth conversations. And all of a sudden, AI says, ChatGPT says, well, Cindy Williams out in Irvine is excellent at what she does. I think you should give her a call. And all of a sudden, that magic happens with the lead generation piece based on trust. So the name of the game now for sales and marketing teams is to build brands, but the brands need to be trusted by AI. What is really challenging for sales and marketing teams is that AI is moving at unprecedented changes. I get about 50 change notes sometimes a day from different platforms, and I have to keep up with it. But I've been gifted to understand tech and humans. So imagine when you don't understand tech and you fear it. And so people start to have these anxieties at work that are not fair. It's not fair on them. And so I think what's happening is that sales and marketing teams are getting more siloed, they're more afraid. So they don't speak up. They try to create more work for themselves to keep themselves in a job. I'm really advocating with leadership with kindness so that you bring in the right person to come in to speak to both sides of the teams that they need to become one. We need to de-silo them. Sales has to work with marketing and marketing has to work with sales. But how? So that's why we build systems. And systems now can involve team human and team AI. Another big change is that websites have a very new role. It's no longer the front door of your business. AI platforms are the front of your business. Social media are the big windows in the house to see what's going on with your business. All right. So, so everyone's asking me, Hema, do I still need a website? The answer is yes. The website is the best friend of AI platforms. And you can only become a best friend if AI can actually read the information on your website. So it's now an AI agent that needs to be structured and engineered correctly so that AI can read what it is that you are saying on there and what problems you actually solve so that it can actually communicate back to the consumer or the business who's looking for the service or the product that you sell. And last but not least, what's biggest change is people. People have decided that they love search everywhere optimization. They've picked different channels to go to and look for information. As a marketer, we have to make sure that we're on all platforms. And here is something that I'm going to tell you. Attention, the three currencies, attention, interest, and trust. These are three currencies that we have to work on. And from an attention perspective, everyone now engages in under 3 seconds. So imagine the messaging that you have to create, right? And then there's different generations. We've got Gen Zs, millennials, Gen Xs, the boomers, and everyone wants it a different way. So think of your marketing teams. They've got to think about all of these things and communicate it in under 3 seconds. And I'm going to show you some stats going in the next few slides that puzzled me a little bit, and I got me a little worried because I thought I had to shut my business down to start dancing on TikTok. But first, you need to understand your teams. And I'm going to play this little video here for you because I'll explain why.
Flash is the fastest guy in there. You need something done, he's on it.
I hope so. We are really fighting the clock and every minute counts. Wait, they're all sloths? Be quick.
Aren't you saying that because he's a sloth, he can't be fast?
Biases. But we do have sloths on teams. We do have a bunny and we do have a fox on teams, especially in sales and marketing. So what I have been very candid with a lot of leaders is that don't underestimate the fear factor that's come into this whole equation with AI and lead with kindness because there's so many changes out there that are happening so quickly. And let me get to the next slide, including nobody reads anymore. Nobody reads anymore. Around the whole wide world, the average time spent on videos, it's 154 minutes a day. Podcast is 53 minutes a day. Articles to read, it's 16 minutes a day. Does this mean that you stop writing articles? No, because AI loves reading your articles. Team AI, team human. But the humans gravitate to videos. So when I saw this come out late last year, I thought, this is it. I'm going to have to dance on TikTok, which means I'm going to shut my business down because I'm not dancing on TikTok to talk about AI. And I don't think many of you would want to do that. If you do, great, send me your handle. I'd love to watch you dance. But the good news is I found another piece of statistic that showed me that YouTube is actually the #1 place to post your videos. And YouTube has re-engineered their entire algorithm to showcase, to mimic TikTok with short videos, long videos. They even have a podcast station there and you can go live. And YouTube is the #2 largest search engine out there. And so your teams need to pivot to this. And if they don't get on videos, guess what? AI loves watching your videos. It learns from you. It trusts you. Right now, 90% of videos are created by AI. Actually, not just videos, a lot of content is created by AI. What is the net result there? Trust has eroded with humans. So if you don't come on to those videos yourself, the chances of you authenticating your reality, your trust, your authority in the subject matter that you're an expert in is going to be almost zero. So these are some of the things that your sales and marketing teams are facing. So the name of the game is building trust, deep trust or have no trust. And so I have another presentation that is called You Are What You Eat. And it's not about vegetables and protein. This is a marketing eat formula that's prescribed by Google. And it's about how you actually display your expertise, your experience, your authoritativeness, and your trustworthiness. Now, if you don't have eat in the right formulation, then don't expect your sales teams to win, your sales and marketing teams to win. You're setting them up for failure. It's really important that they re-engineer what they're doing. All the SOPs, all the workflows need to be looked at. And in some instances, you can actually accelerate the speed of doing some of these things with AI. But at the end of the day, you must have a human making the final decisions. Use AI as a thought partner. Your team remains the thought leader. Okay, so this is very important. And then the second thing that I find very, very helpful and effective is to apply my 4 V's. You need to use veracity. Now, veracity is the truth and the essence of your brand and what it is that you actually are all about. So, but this veracity now needs to work hand in hand with AI because AI is now having conversations before you get to have those conversations. So what is the veracity behind your brand, your offer, your values? And then what is it today that with AI answering some of those questions, like what Mary was displaying, some of the employers are going onto AI and getting those answers. You need to understand your value as a service provider, as someone who's innovated on a product, what your value is in tandem with this era that we're living in with AI. So that AI can fall in love with you, trust you, and then present you in those conversations. And then the next thing is visibility. Make sure you are on all platforms. It starts with your website. Your website needs to be engineered in the right way. And if you don't know if it's correct at the moment, I can just do a complimentary test for you. It's really, really important because you can have a beautiful website that AI does not understand. And guess what? Your phones will stop ringing. The other thing on visibility is social media. If you're not on all platforms, social media is now an AI also platform, and people are searching on there. So what are you doing on social media? Are you saying Happy Tuesday and Happy Wednesday? Are you giving meaningful information that engages in under 3 seconds? And this final V here is super important. It's validation. Validation is not just getting testimonials and posting it on your website. In 2024, I asked ChatGPT what it thought of me, and I'd won awards, and it didn't have a very good report about me. It just says Hema's all right, and she can do that, but I can't endorse her. So I invested in digital PR. I've even gotten Trustpilot as my reviews platform. And now, after about a year, it says Hema Dey is good at what she does. And she is the person that you need to go to for everything around AI, marketing, and technology. So validation, so the 4 V's, veracity, values, visibility, validation, go hand in hand with Google's formula called EAT, right? So these are things that you need to examine with your sales and marketing teams. So I am the AI translator, and as I said, I sit at the intersection between team human and team AI. And what I love about this era is that it's able to connect the dots really quickly. It can create really good systems. It can amplify productivity. It is not here to take away jobs, because I can tell you this now, I have program agents myself, and Jasmine's on the call here. We are so busy because the output from AI agents is so quick, so interesting, so much that it's like knowledge and an abundance of knowledge. So how do you actually now use that information to accelerate growth, to accelerate productivity, to make better decisions? You need to go back to the fundamentals of how to do things, your workflows, your SOPs. Let me tell you something else. If your SOPs are all wrong and the methodology is wrong, pre-existing, then if you implement AI without strategy, you're going to amplify everything bad 10 times worse. You'll have chaos in your organization. So I'm the AI translator, and my candidate to you is that before you start anything with AI, is get your strategy examined, your human talent examined, your workflows examined and audited so that it can be ready. And I call it AI readiness is key before you touch any agentic AI platforms. So when do you call me? When you have declining revenue? I love getting new business. We do it all. We have a whole team to help you with this. Declining profit. How do I fix that? I can look at your systems and procedures now, and if I can fix it with an AI system, absolutely. And if you're trying to sell your company, it improves your EBITDA, your profit. Valuation is now looking very closely at AI in the workforce, but how you actually set it up is super, super critical. The third thing is that if you're not AI ready and you don't know what button to press or where to even begin, I'm really good at coming in with kindness to show you how to get started. I can do workshops for your leadership teams, your supervisors, your manufacturing facility. I come from a manufacturing background as well as the service sector, so I'm able to talk to leaders and humans to tame their fears down, to show them how step by step to get acquainted with AI. And I do it with kindness and a lot of love because I think this is a game changer for Team Human. And if you want me to program AI agents for you, let me know. We do that here as well. You can watch all the updates. I'm very much watching every change note that comes to me every day. And I have videos that I post on YouTube, but also on all other channels. But this is my YouTube channel, and I'm pretty candid on there. I'm pretty raw and real, so excuse me if you don't like that, but I want people to know right away what those changes are and how it's actually going to impact your businesses. Because I do get the calls. My leads are drying up. My business is looking dismal. I hate my sales and marketing teams. We need to just rewire. We need to learn new things, unlearn, and then relearn. Whoops. And I am ready right now for questions or comments. Cindy, I think this is now perfect timing. And it's over back to you, Cindy, so that you can run the competition or get some questions in.
You're on mute, Cindy.
Cindy, you're on mute. Ask to unmute.
Mute. Okay, thank you. So thank you everybody for attending. Let's go to Mary's questions. So Mary, go ahead, and I'm going to take down. Can we show the names of the people on the side view here? So I can see who is asking the questions and answering the questions.
Yeah, so why don't we have your virtual hand raised, and then I can call them out for you, Cindy.
Okay.
Raise your virtual hands if you have any questions or want to answer the question that Mary's going to be asking.
Yeah.
So this is the scenario. I have two scenarios for you. This one has to do with extended leave. Your employee is off work on protected CFRA leave, California Family Rights Act leave. They exhaust the 12 weeks of CFRA leave, and you have not received a return date. The manager wants to terminate their employment. What should they do? I'm waiting for all the hands. Only if you want to compete for the gift card.
If everyone knows how to, so I think it's under React, and then you can raise your hand on Zoom. It's $35, right, Cindy?
Yes, it is. Uh-huh.
Well, well, well. Oh, we have Sarah Daniels.
Thank you, Sarah.
You can unmute Sarah, and she can give her answer.
Yep.
Okay, so what are you supposed to do? You can't terminate them.
Great.
You should probably find out what their return date is. I don't know if you can directly talk to them, but you need to find out what it's going to be. They can sue you if you try to terminate them.
Okay, what else can I do?
Can you talk to the CFRA? That's state, right?
Yes.
Can you talk to the state, is that disability, to find out what the status is?
Well, no, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
What did I talk about that I want you to make sure that you do?
Document everything.
I want you to document everything. I do want you to talk to them. So let me go on. Sarah, you hit a lot of these. So let me go. Let me move forward and show you. Let me find my mouse here.
Maybe look at it.
Obligations and risks. Let's talk about that first. FEHA, ADA, depending on the size of your business, applies to work-related. Oops, I don't know why we're putting this to work-related events, but it does apply here. I'm going to update this slide before it goes out. Let's look at what good looks like. I don't know how that happened. Well, I do know how it happened, but that's another story. I better coach myself. We're going to request updated medical certification. Just because we don't have it doesn't mean we can't ask for it.
You're requesting that from the employee, right?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because we're going to engage in and document the interactive process. And the interactive process says that we're having conversations.
Right.
So we're not going to have conversations about work. I'm not going to call them at home while they're on leave and ask them how I do things, but I can have conversations about their leave, about what their expected return date is, about what I need them to provide
Right.
to me in terms of supporting that leave. And then they're going to come back with a date or some things that you're going to need to accommodate, some requests for accommodation, and you're going to assess the additional leave as a reasonable accommodation. If they need additional time off, you're probably going to grant that, because even if CFRA is expired, you still have FEHA and ADA to contend with. You're going to evaluate an undue hardship before a denial, and I would suggest that very, very rarely are we going to have a denial, and we're going to document. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate you playing and participating today. Okay, my second scenario is offsite conduct. Your team's gathered for a company-sponsored happy hour. It feels like it's 1990 again. And during the event, an employee is too friendly, but it still happens. An employee is too friendly, we all know what I mean by that, with a coworker and doesn't stop when asked to do so, so doesn't take no for no. The manager says, it's not work related, it's up to them to figure it out. So there's no obligation for her or the company to take any action. What do you think?
Well, it's a company sponsor program, so I think the manager
You're
has to
right.
intervene. Yeah.
So what do I need to do?
Well, intervene, and I think just there's explain them, what they can do, what they cannot do, and just pull them aside and talk to them rather than saying anything in a public speaking. I would say my personal HR law that you wanna say the praise in public, criticize in private. So
Agree with that.
talk to them in private.
Agree with that. And I also want to make certain that, let's say I hear about it afterwards, so I'm not able to intervene. I want to make certain that I treat it as a workplace incident because I, as a manager, supervisor, now that I have knowledge, I also have culpability. I want to investigate it promptly. And again, I'm going to go back to applying the policy consistently, documenting, and then reinforcing expectations at events. So as an example, I used to run a lot of events for a company where I was their HR person. And this was a big area of risk in my mind because we never know what's going to happen when we introduce alcohol into a situation. So I always would put ahead of time, hey, I want us all to go have a good time. I also want us to remember some rules of engagement, if you will, for workplace functions. So sometimes preparing ahead of time can also be incredibly helpful. So I will stop sharing and stop there, and I will throw it over to Hema for your questions. And Cindy, I hope that you noted who was successful in their answers today. Sarah
Yes.
and Alex.
Yep.
Thank you both.
I will create a scenario. I've got two questions, two scenarios. The first scenario is the CEO is really upset at the sales performance in the company. But the CEO is also a little bit of the old guard. What are the four changes that I spoke about today that as advocates for leadership and kindness that you would actually inform the CEO to maybe think about? What are the top four changes that I talked about today that are happening, that are impacting sales and marketing teams? Anybody? I talked about four. Even if you give me two, I'll be happy. Oh, there's someone here that's saying something in the chat. Veracity, values, visibility, validation. That's one of the formulas. But what are the symptoms that are impacting? What are the reasons behind why it's impacting? Sarah, I think I saw your hand go up.
No, never mind.
Anyone wants to give it a try? It was the same slide that I had the video of the DMV presentation. I see another one in the chat. This disengagement on part of the employees. Yes, that's a disengagement, but there's also fear, correct? Because of the rapid changes in AI. So the four that I had talked about, anyone else wants to give a go, give it a go? What's happening with websites? The website's role, Beatrice, good, thank you. The website's role is now what? It's no longer the
Primary, it's the window. Or not the window, it's the best friend.
It's the best friend of AI. That's right. It's no longer the front door of your company. Beatrice, score one. Do you have one more answer to one of the reasons why things have changed that could possibly be causing a slowdown in leads?
Everything's video now?
Everything's video now. Correct. Wonderful. Okay. And what about attention? To elaborate a little further on that,
People only pay attention for 3 seconds.
under 3 seconds.
Under 3 seconds.
So is that Sarah who's speaking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have Beatrice is also talking about the same thing at the same time in the text message.
Oh, sorry.
The chat. Yeah. Okay, very good. Very, very good. What is my second question is, what is Google's formula when it comes to building up content to be trusted by AI platforms? Ooh, Sarah got this one too. EAT. Very good. What does EAT stand for, Sarah?
Experience, expertise, something, and trust.
Say that
What-
again.
Experience, I think expertise, there's something with the A, and trust.
The A is, I'll give you that, is
Okay.
authoritativeness, right?
Well,
So
what is it? Sorry.
experience, expertise,
Expertise.
authoritativeness,
Okay.
and trustworthiness.
What company is Sarah with?
Starfish?
Starfish. All right.
So those were my two questions, and looks like I don't know who the winner is, but it's good to see some participation here this morning. Thank you, Cindy. I yield back to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think Sarah Daniels is our winner today.
So I think so too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So hang back, Sarah.
Okay.
Yeah. All of you guys are wonderful. You really came together. Beatrice, I'm sorry. And Alex, I'm sorry. But I think we have Sarah Daniels. You came together on the first question for HR as well. So I think you're going to be our winner today. Thank you.
Cindy, are we doing more questions? Like if anyone has more questions?
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for our wonderful people here today?
I'm so
They're here.
You can
They're
put
at
it
your
in the chat.
disposal.
If you put it in the chat, I can read it out too.
Yeah. For either Hema or for Mary.
Yep.
You have 8 minutes.
Mary, I really liked what you talked about with separating friend at work versus,
Oh, yeah.
this is business. Yeah. Alex, your hand's up.
Yes. So the questions to you, Hema, and let's say fast forwarding the AI, throughout the day, what AI does, they are making the decisions for us, right? So our decision is generally biased, emotionally influenced, but the AI, is purely make the decision by algorithms. So what do you see here? What do you see the future? Let's say 10 years, 20 years down the road. I mean, pretty much we're not going to be making any decision. Which decisions are we going to make?
Alex, I can't forecast what happens in 10 years, let alone 20 years, but I will say this. I am in the trenches with AI and business planning and strategic planning. And AI is only smart with what you prompt it to do. So the input and the output is driven by the human, right? And when you hear in the media that people are talking about how AI is going to make all the decisions, that's a very dangerous rhetoric, in my opinion, because if I allow my AI agents to make decisions on social media campaigns, which I have AI agents that I programmed, they could go rogue on me, and that would be the end of my business because my clients won't like what they see out there. So I think that myth is going to be debunked fairly soon. I will give it one thing. AI is really good at doing mundane and repetitive tasks that that even as humans, when we do our jobs, we don't have to think too much. I think that's okay. But critical thinking is something that I advocate for. And I think what's also happening with people not reading anymore, Alex, is that the knowledge base is shrinking as to how foundationally on how to do things. So I think we all need to go back to reading, comprehension, and making sure that we know how to use a large language model. Garbage in, garbage out. So I hope that helps, Alex.
Yeah, thank you.
It's not going to go away. Sarah.
So my question to you was, the large language models were trained on, something like Reddit or some of these websites. And, obviously there was bias in them and some information is incorrect, as, people who've used it can see. And a lot of people who use, Claude or chat or whatever, they type in a question or prompt and the information they get back, they just assume that it's correct. So, and they might put that back into something that'll go on the internet. So eventually some of this incorrect information will continue to repeat itself and the large language models will continue to learn from that. So at some point, well, all the information, like the incorrect information, I mean, the large language models will continue to have incorrect, like I said, garbage in, garbage out. So at what point does that stop? Or will it, like, how can that get better where is it going to stop? Where is it going to end?
So let me diffuse that fear that you have there, Sarah, and I can feel that. And I thought the same thing when I first got involved with understanding large language models. And I know you referenced Reddit, but the only reason the large language models references Reddit is because it's really authentic conversations that people are having on there. It's not sugar-coated with nice words, or it's just what you see is what you get, right? But the truth is that go back to the 4 V's. AI detects patterns. So if your brand stands for X, Y, and Z, it's up to you as the brand custodian to make sure your visibility is up in the right way, that your communication calendar and strategy is done right. But the yin and the yang here is that you need third-party validation. So you can debunk a wrong methodology out there by having the facts validated so that AI can see that patterns of detection, that what you're saying is really the correct answer versus a competitor, for example, that might be saying something completely different. So the stitching of
Okay.
context, right? Your
Okay.
context is very, very important.
Gotcha. I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anyone
Okay,
else?
guys. Well, thank you everyone for attending. I know that Mary has a hard stop at 11 o'clock. And I hope that you really learned a lot this month and at our webinar here. Thank you so much, Hema,
You're welcome.
for all of your knowledge and being one of our hosts here this month. And Mary, thank you so much.
My
I
pleasure.
really appreciate you taking the time. And thank you everyone for being here. We will see you on June 18th, hopefully, is our next webinar. So put that on your calendar now, June 18th. We'll be here again and look forward to seeing you. Thanks again. And so hang back, Sarah, and I'm going to get your email address. All right. Take
Thank you,
care,
everyone.
Have a great couple of months. We'll see you
Bye-bye.
soon. Bye. Thanks,
Cindy?
Emma.
No, you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Sarah's going to stay on though, so I'm going to stay on for a little bit. And
Okay.
Okay.
You should put
Sa-
your,
Sarah,
yeah, hi.
hi. What's your email address?
It's SARA at Starfish Signs.
Fish. Signs.
I
Awesome.
There we are.
So glad you could attend. Smarty pants.
Well, I had a little help here from my boss here.
Ah, it was a group effort. I love it.
Team effort. Out of it. So,
Good job. Thank you for participating,
yeah,
Sarah.
thank you. I learned it was really interesting what you just said. So
Yeah,
thank you for that.
We
Very
really were
welcome.
looking forward to this.
Love it.
Yeah, we were. And so
What-
we decided to team up together. Yeah.
What
We
does your
had a
business
lot of
do?
participation today. I was really surprised. Sometimes people are really quiet, and sometimes we get a lot of participation. So AI is a mystery to me. So I would have been one of those people going, she's my marketing person. So I
Well,
just called her.
I'm here to teach and share whatever I know. So, leadership with kindness. We've got to be kind to everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. Do you need
Thank
me to
you.
keep this on?
What?
You need me to keep the Zoom on?
No,
We're
I
good.
think we're all done.
All
Okay.
right.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.